Thank you, Padmaja. And a very good afternoon to all the friends present. So many friends who have made a mark for themselves in their life, and I should therefore address all of you as distinguished friends. Let me in the first instance welcome all friends who have come from other parts of the country and from other states from Northeast. It's a wonderful moment in spite of all the circumstances which were perceived as not conducive, but you have made it, and that's the wonderful message that we are sending to the people. I should also thank our great friend, the India Today group, for deciding to organize this beautiful and important event in this beautiful part of the country. And I'm sure you will all agree, whoever have visited Shillong for the first time, that you would have missed out the opportunity of visiting this wonderful place, a place which I, on a regular basis, refer to as one of the most beautiful hill stations in the world. I think you will all agree. It's all about the place and the people. And here we are to take this platform to make others also know that a beautiful place like Shillong does exist, which is untrodden, unexplored, and for many of our friends, though have heard, have not been actually met. Many of our friends have actually not known how diverse this part of the country is and how wonderful this part of the country is and how diverse our culture and traditional values are. Friends, it was in this context that when this proposal to organize these Mind Rocks in Shillong was proposed, I believe I took just half a minute to say yes after listening. And that's why we are here today. I'm happy that many of our friends have agreed to come here, and that itself is a reflection of your desire and commitment to explore our own country, and at the same time, create an environment to connect to the people of all parts of this country. We have often talked about people not knowing each other in this diverse country of ours. The beautiful nation to which we belong is so diverse. And therefore, it is important for all of us to actually know how diverse we are. And it is also important then to decide and ideate as to how we can actually leverage upon all this diversity for the benefit of all of us, for the benefit, for the growth and prosperity of the nation as a whole. Friends, I actually was attracted to these Mind Rocks. You know why? Because it's an era of innovation and creativity. And I used to share with my friends, sometimes some brilliant ideas actually float in our mind. And if we do not capture them at that point of time, we actually may not actually remember that kind of brilliant idea and creativity which floats in our mind. And similarly, there are so many wonderful young friends who have so many brilliant ideas, capable of ideating and capable of being creative. How do we reach to those creativity, those capacity of people to ideate? How do we capture them? And that is one of the platforms which allows us. I was once upon a time confronted by the students of Delhi University when I was engaged in campaigning for the DUSU elections, which I always do. So the first thing that they asked me was, what do we gain by being involved in students' unions, so-called students' unions? And besides other things, what I told them was that, you see, you get a platform, because many a time we hear our young friends talking about brilliant ideas They wonder why such brilliant ideas, certain good things which they know can actually do wonders are not perceived by people who actually are in the hands of affairs. In other words, are not perceived by the policymakers. Therefore, what I tried to tell them was that, look, this is a platform where your wonderful and brilliant ideas, which can help the policymakers to integrate them and ultimately put them in place in the matter of governance, can actually get connected. And that is exactly what is important for all of us. Many a time when we get various policies wrong as a policymaker, what happens is that we get flags from people. We get abused left and right. You will see a number of instances these days when the media has become so vibrant and aggressive. Many a time in the panel discussion, you will see most of the panel discussions are directed towards politicians, as though politicians are the only group of people who belong to the so-called bad people, the villain. But the fact is that policymakers as such must be able to capture ideas and must get them right. And therefore, being connected to the ground realities is so important. And MindRocks, I'm sure, is basically a platform to enable all of us to actually capture the ideas, creativity from people from various walks of life, including the younger generation who would like to participate and engage. And today, as we stand here, as this MindRocks is being organized and being viewed by many of our friends across the country, we also have an opportunity to enlighten the people of the country who are glued to this channel today that there exist so many wonderful places with wonderful people in this country, which need to be known, which need to be visited, and where we must actually again come together to bring out ideas which can actually, besides bringing us together, enable us to actually leverage upon each other's ideas and creativity for the benefit of the region and benefit of the nation as a whole. It is important for the country as a whole also to understand the strength of this region. Many a time I feel that certain policies, those are designed by policymakers, including the overall perception about the Northeast, including my state, are born because of lack of complete, and I should say maybe not complete lack of knowledge, but because of not having enough knowledge about the Northeast, about the people, about the richness, about the potentialities, about the talents. Therefore, it is important for all of us to try to reach out to every part of the country, to reach out to every nook and corner of the country and find out for ourselves how fortunate we are that every part of the nation has their own richness, potentialities, which when brought together and leveraged upon in a very scientific manner, programmed manner, can actually help us to grow together. We belong to this region, and we must inform this August gathering, all enlightened friends here, that prior to the partition of this great nation, post-independence, the per capita income of the people of this region were higher than the per capita income of the people of other parts of this country. And today, it is just a reverse. And we need to reverse it again. And that is all about trying to find the right way, trying to get things right. The potentiality of this region is going to actually contribute for the strength of the nation. And the weakness of this region is going to weaken the nation. The nation will be weakened if this part of the country remains weak, vulnerable to all kinds of conflict because of various factors which are inherent to this part of the country and which are basically because of the offshoot of the partition, or in other words, which is linked to history. Therefore, understanding the various problems, various weaknesses, and the strength of this region is paramount to all the policymakers, all the people of the nation. Then we understand, okay, what we need to do to actually allow this region to overcome all the challenges and get rid of the weaknesses and ensure that this region, including this state of Meghalaya, which is so vibrant, can actually become stronger, vibrant, and contribute for the overall growth and prosperity of this nation. It is therefore a question of breaking the mind barrier which often, as I have said, divide us, tend to divide us. Many a time there is a perception that maybe the people from other parts of the country are yet to understand the people of this region of the country, because we have completely different way of life. You look around as you move around Shillong, you will definitely see that there is a visible reflection of the way of life of our people, which is definitely different from the way of life of people in other parts of the country. The way we eat, the way we dress, and the way we live as a whole, our way of life, is so different. And knowing this will help the nation. And knowing this will actually break the barrier that often comes on the way and tend to create sense of, alienation, often which is perceived by many of our younger generation. These are crucial issues which obviously can be overcome by trying to organize these kind of programs by enabling our people to connect. You must understand that this country with over 1.2 billion population, the population of the people of the Northeast is just microscopic. But nevertheless, it is part of our great nation, capable of growing and capable of contributing for the growth and prosperity of our people. Wonderful talents around. You must have seen number of our young men and women traveling across the country, traveling across the globe, and making people know that a place called Shillong exists. And today, as you must have been welcomed by one of the bands, the Purple Fusion. Last time when I inaugurated a similar kind of program, the International Film Festival of India in Goa, I had the privilege of watching them perform. And they impressed me so much. So I wanted to see that they get this platform so that India Today Group and all our friends who are here will have a glimpse of the vibrant talent that actually is in plenty in this part of the country. We have today the Festival of Choir, where many of the choir groups will perform, including the Shillong Chamber Choir, which have done the people of Meghalaya so proud. Therefore, there are lots of talents. What we need to do is to create the platform for them to actually grow and excel and contribute for the growth and prosperity. I hope this summit allows our friends, our younger friends, to connect with many of our friends who will be sharing the moments with them, and many of the ideas will emerge, I'm sure. Many of inspiring and motivating speeches will come from all our friends who are present here, and I'm sure you will also do a bit to inspire me and motivate me, because when I'm not motivated, 3 million people are affected. So that is very important. So as a politician, politicians need to be inspired and motivated, because we matter. If we, many a time, people say, oh, I'm not interested in politics, I have a word of caution. Never say that, because everybody is influenced by what politicians do. If politicians take a wrong decision, you're going to have it. Therefore, you got to ensure that politicians are well connected with the ground realities, and that happens when you are willing to remain connected and we are willing to remain connected. It has to be both ways, not one-way traffic. So thank you, friends, for this opportunity. Thank you, India Today. Thank you, friends who have come here, and I look forward to see a productive engagement and interactive session which will inspire, motivate,